Good little on time dude. Oh my gosh. So I just pressed the wrong button, and if you go live too early,
It won't let you, huh?
it won't let me. Yeah. So is Julie there?
Julie, I guess you're supposed to come back.
Yeah. Didn't she know I was gonna be like, come on, Mia.
Figured so. She didn't walk far.
I didn't go that far.
Hi. Are you guys all there?
No, we
Yeah.
were all here a few days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Michael had to deal with us a couple days ago for our lesson here at my house, the annual lesson at my house. So
Aw.
he kicked
Aw.
butts.
Then
And
I drove home. Not that far from here. Drove home, drove back the next day with the family. So we're headed up the North Shore, Lake Superior.
oh, it sounds nice. What so beautiful colors, of course, right?
It's very bright out there right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Not here. A couple more days, then it's over.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Colors are gone.
well, no. I mean, we'll still have a few more colors, but we don't have any sunlight after this next week. You know the deal. Julie, you've heard about our Spanaway trips where we used to go up to Washington, and it was like the parking lot would be a lake. There would literally be ducks.
Really?
Yeah. So anyway, Lake Superior in the fall sounds lovely.
It is quite lovely. The temperature is glorious.
Like what?
Oh, it's perfect. It's like 60s during the day, 40s at night right now.
Oh,
It's
we
perfect.
can have that. Yeah, yeah. That sounds good. Very nice.
All right.
And how's your horsey?
My horsey is,
Doing well.
yeah,
I can vouch for him.
Vinny, give him a hug for me.
we've made some progress this summer. So yeah.
They've been out doing like long trot trails, wide open, lots and lots of acres,
Yeah. Lots of miles.
lots of miles.
Yeah, putting lots of miles on them. So I did ranch horse versatility.
Oh yeah.
And so that was that showed me some gigantic holes, which everybody needs. And then I did this fall like 4 good long, like 10 to 15, well, long for me, 10 to 15 mile trail rides, a lot of wide open flat with gentle curves and people that wanted to like move out. So we long trotted just for miles and cantered, and yeah, no, it was he's in good shape.
Yeah, no kidding. That'll long trails like that. Well, that's long. I mean, that's especially, I mean, it's not like he's an Arabian.
It's a good thing he's a comfortable mover, that it's very, very comfortable to sit his trot and his can I could canter on him all day long. So that's kind of fun. So yeah, it's been
Do
good.
do you use like an amino acid supplement after big workouts like that for him?
I haven't.
No. Okay. Sometimes I think about that for horses that are not like for 15 miles is a lot, I feel like.
Oh yeah. I was tired and I just sat there.
No kidding. Are you going to work today? You look like
I
you're
am. Yeah,
yeah.
I am. I'm heading out.
So give the shout out to the company. Might as
Oh,
well.
yes. Yeah, so I'm a real estate agent with JS Realty here in the northern Minnesota. So, if you want to come up to land at 10,000 Lakes, Emma can get you in touch with me.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
All
Julie has
right.
tons
Well,
of
I can.
experience. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right.
All
Well,
right.
we better chat about horses. Is there anything we should talk about?
Oh, for me? Oh, I don't know. Michael just looked through my soul at the end of our lesson after I was giving Vinny an apple from our ride, and he looked and he said, "You just gotta get it together, get him moving with you, like scrunch him up, get him, let him do his thing, and don't let him do anything differently." And he was like looking into my soul. I
Well,
swear to God, I was like,
It was kind of along the lines of this horse is highly capable. Like, ask him to step up and he will enjoy the whole deal more. And that's what you want anyway, right? So
yeah, yeah,
let's go.
yeah. I have a tendency to have a hard time with that in between area of when to, like, how much space to give him.
That's not, is it
Like,
not?
sit back in there, and like to have a float, but then get in there when I really need to get in there. That's the hard part, is because it just depends on the situation. Like, I want to offer it for him to be able to operate in that space, but then when he doesn't, it's hard to know like how big to come in and be like, this needs to move. And so it's just such a in the moment.
Mhm.
So that's hard for me because I have a tendency to be too soft and nice. And then I get a lesson with Michael, and then I'm like, I've been too nice and
Well,
allowing too much.
it's like if the rectangle is this long, then the horse can bounce around in there and figure out like how to move. But if it's this long that they get to bounce around in, now they're like, there's enough room to be like way out of the rectangle and then way in. It's like, just say this is how long you need to be. And then within that, I'll give you space. And like, why, if that's how long you need them to be, don't you set the parameters such that that's the rectangle they have to figure out how to operate in? And then he just like rounded up and like, all right, I'll loop around. And now I'm going, give him more rein, like lots more space because he's there. And he didn't really pop out, I mean, he was just loping along
Yeah.
for a good long while. So yeah, and then I'm like, you can lope longer than just like a little bit where he like slots in. Like, now do something, like go for a while with that. He can carry it.
Then I feel greedy because
Yeah.
like, how long do I continue? Because it's so fun, and then I feel like I'm being greedy. Like, and we go, and we go, and we go, because I could ride this all day long.
Especially when he's going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you're
It's
gonna
not,
lope anyway, you might as well be loping correct. That was my
well,
point. That's what I was saying when I was looking into her soul, apparently.
Yeah, you were.
Didn't know I saw that deep.
Yeah, no, it was like you were staring into me. I was like, ooh.
it's not that easy to figure out. Even if you're pretty advanced, it's nice to have somebody on the ground to like be looking at the length of your rectangle and be like, I'm pretty sure that's where you can work it because you can shorten it too much.
Mhm.
Um, but just knowing you guys sounds like that was all right on the money.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We've been having lots of fun. So
Let's see. So nobody's saying. Okay, I was looking to see if anybody has comments for you, Julie. No. Chelsea said you forgot you unloaded your annoying baggage once home. What does that mean?
Chelsea was with me.
yeah. Oh, she
Ah,
she
okay.
wasn't baggage if she's thinking she was
She
baggage.
I told her, what did I say? Oh, if she misses her flight or whatever, because I dropped her at the airport. I'm like, if something goes wrong, just let me know. I'll pick you up and you can go on our vacation with us.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then is this Eva? Eva, is this you? Did you get your own did you get your
No,
own channel or is this a different Eva? Good morning. Susan says good morning.
probably is Eva.
I see. So you guys were all together. Susan, Chelsea, I see. Yeah, you were all in Canada. I feel so left out, Julie, when you guys were all hanging out. It's so sad. But I guess I'll be there sooner rather than later, huh?
Mhm. It'll come quick.
Yeah, goes by so fast. I can't believe it's the middle of October. It's like, well, time to almost get the Christmas decorations out, do our
Don't
Christmas
say it.
Popeyes
No,
for clients. you know, all the stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. All right, I'll let you guys tackle into the good stuff.
All right. Have a good day. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. See you later.
All right. Bye. You
Bye.
guys, my chat is staying on. How cool is that? Say some more things so I can see if it stays on here. So, you guys, I see you were all in Canada together. Aha.
yes.
Good. Well, tell me what we should talk about in regards to y'all being together.
Trying to find them. Need more books to be the same height as you, so I guess I'm just gonna be taller.
Same,
Uh,
Eva. Yay. You have
same.
plans for when
Uh,
I'm there in February. We can talk more, right?
so Susan had, I mean, I told Julie about what I told Susan, and I told Susan about what I told Julie. Talked to Susan first. So, just like, your horse is not a colt anymore. And part of the reason he's a little tends toward the pokey or downhill or not putting in a lot of effort is because you're not, like, you're hesitant to say, like, seriously, let's do something. Let's go. Like, let's be athletic. Let's, you know, get out of the ground a little bit. Let's really move across the ground. Open it up a little bit. Say, let's stop. Let's get back now. Bring the front end through. Yes, let's have it rhythmic, but like, let's go. It shouldn't be like slow step, slow step. We have the footfalls correct now. We have the understanding of pretty well all the movements for you to get through pieces that are puzzling you, or for you to reach the goals you have, whether it be Julie's ranch versatility or just Susan having fun and advancing her horse. Like, if you if you want to get somewhere, you have to come to play, right?
Mm.
Can't can't go, oh well, why, we need to get through this, but it kind of just be, oh, but we go around, everything's kind of, it's not like either of them are trying to do what's easy. That was something I said to someone, like, my Spanish tutoring group the other day. She asked us, what is the piece of advice you would give someone else as a language learner? Because, like, you're all experts now, right? And we all gave our input, and she said, here's what I want you to think about. Find the part that's the hardest for you. Like, in language, it's like reading comprehension. That's rarely the hardest, but speaking, understanding, listening comprehension is, to me, the hardest, because it just goes by so fast. And she said, lean into that. Like, do the part that's the hardest and get to where it's the easiest, because it's just pretty easy to go through and, like, oh, I'm pretty good at this. Like, look at the cool things we can do, and the whole ride feels pretty successful, rather than leaning into the part that's more challenging. That's maybe more challenging as the leader to your horse, not necessarily even more challenging to the horse, but it's like figuring out how to present it to the horse, or whatever the case may be. Lean into the part that's difficult rather than avoid it. uh, and the person I was talking to about that, it was the sticky leading up forward, and it's like, things are going pretty good, but it's like, that's a real pattern for her horse, and it has been for years. Everything was head up, hollow back. I mean, they made so much progress. The horse was just very hard to do anything without just a hollow back brace resistance first, years ago. And so I told her, like, this is better, but until it gets good, good, it's going to be affecting everything else. So you got to lean into it, even though it's not the most pleasant thing to try to work through. Draw forward, put a little draw in there. Say, come on, get up that with the flag or whatever. But mostly just put a feel on that rope, and say, you got to come up it. And then initially it's this. And then when she did get to it, didn't take that long. I said, okay, but now don't ignore it, or don't, like, say, okay, good, made it through that. Don't have to address that for the rest of the clinic. It's like, no, you address that multiple times each session we have. So it gets better and better and better. And then you give your horse however much time off because you're busy. You come back, you don't, don't want to chest that because it's not fun to work on. Like, do you hit it? All right, check it out. If it's great, great, but don't avoid it because there's a conflict there that you don't enjoy, or you don't quite know how to get through it for sure. You're questioning whether you can. you got to lean into it and find it anyway. So a little bit different with Susan and Vinny because they are, or Susan and Julie with Nick and Vinny. Um, just they are leaning into, like, they ride all the time. They're working at it. They know what they want, and yet it's like, well, if that's what you really want, better be saying, let's get it. Let's go there. So they both completely rose the occasion. Both of them, it took me kind of like narrating the ride. Like, this is seriously how much you, and for what it's worth, I was watching some of the Snaffle Bit Futurity and just watching these horses, younger than they maybe should be for pushing as hard as they do on a 2-year-old. But no, even those that are got a little more age on them, where it is maybe a little bit more appropriate for them to be really pushing as hard as they do. It's like, there's no reason your horses couldn't be ripping it out of the ground like that, stopping real hard, laying it down and moving out as fast as they can, and then rating it back with you. Like, thinking reining pattern, running down a cow. Like, even if those aren't your things,
They're physically possible, yeah.
they're physically possible, very physically possible. And asking that of your horses is going to tap that potential that is necessary, or maybe not on that level necessary, but tapping that energy in the horse that, like, oh, okay, we're doing something, and it- we're really going for it. That's going to only serve you in asking for energy in whatever you're doing. I don't know. I just, with both of them, it was like, time to step it up, or you're just gonna keep saying the same thing to me, like, I don't have enough life, or my horse is, or he's not feeling back to me the punctuality that I like, or you know he's not taking responsibility for being right, left to right in the rectangle where I need him to be. It's like, well, yeah, if it's all just kind of casual, like where he's going along, but he's like, I don't know, the phrase come to play is, we didn't come to play, but I mean, like, you go to a game, and a sports game, and the team is like hyped up, they're ready to go, versus walking out there like kicking dirt when they walk out on the field. And all right, you're not going to win. Like, you don't come to play that way. You kind of have your mind in the game to get something done, to bring your best. So that's all.
Yeah, for sure. And
Who was it that said kicking the can, or just kind of kicking dirt along? I think it was Kim yesterday.
go in the dirt.
Yeah, it's like the kid going out to you know run the mile, and they're like, I don't want to run the mile, and they're just like, yeah. Well, of course they're not going to put in effort while they're doing it. They're already just upset they need to do it, as opposed to the one who's like, kind of maybe way more apt to be athletic and run the mile and get a top, a competitive time, and they're an athlete in maybe other areas, and they're just like, bring it, I'm gonna smoke y'all. Like, a lot of these horses I've been helping people with lately are like, just ready, like, let's bring it. I could win, I could run this mile, but if you let them walk out there kicking the dirt going, it's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
hard.
it's not even a matter of my horse wants to do things with me or not, or I have to like get this to happen or really put a lot of pressure in, or where you're just like, come on, do it. It's just like if you don't come to play, then they're just gonna do kind of like you're basically walking out there kicking the dirt a little bit in terms of the gusto with which you're coming to, all right, let's do this. So
It's hard. It's hard to determine that as you're going on. Sometimes,
sorry.
you know, like I, let's just say from doing the colt starts, at bucks, like, oh my God, the horse will go from not confident with you riding him to like, all right, now we've got to work on some serious things because the horse is ready for it. The same thing with Revlon. It's like, oh my God, okay, so what do we need to do here? Because we've gone from being very hesitant to being kind of all in. And then it's not that easy for the human to flex,
Yeah.
and be like, all right. And the value of having a coach too, to be like, all right, next, next, next.
Yeah.
Mhm. Much easier for us to see from the sidelines. I took a hold of somebody's horse the other day. I can't remember, and she's like, "Oh, I can do that with other people's horses, but not with mine." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, for sure." But it is also, you can see, I think, from the sideline or from the ground, you can see a horse like, and the person feeling like, it's not that easy to get the hang of the process, especially when we're only doing one or two at a time, which is most of us, versus like if we have a fleet of s- futurity horses. I forgot that was going. I'm so clueless.
It
Uh,
was, it's funny because usually you say something like strongly worded, and I'm like, okay, let's like make sure people aren't feeling criticized or discouraged. And now I'm like coming down hard, like, you guys step it up. And Emma's like, it's hard, don't feel bad. Like, do that, yeah, but
that's
but they,
exactly what
they all stepped up. They all stepped up with a little encouragement. So, and it was
yeah.
fun.
Well, we
So,
so, well,
like for Nicole, or not for Nicole, goodness gracious, for Susan and Nick. Nick is Susan's horse. He has more of a way of traveling that's not as level. And
this is your gray horse, right, Susan?
no, no,
Is
this
it
is you haven't met. This is her 4-year-old now, I think. Bay.
ooh.
Yeah. Cool little guy. Loves her
uh,
and is just super moldable. I guess that's the thing kind of across the board with everyone I've worked with lately. Their horses know the movements. Their horses, it's just like for everyone, time to step up and up level it. And a lot of it is up level the energy and enthusiasm for what you're doing. And it's okay to ask that so that the movements are not just kind of flat movements. The movements are not just, oh, okay, we rebalance, but there's no kind of enthusiasm, no life coming through the horse to sustain that. And so then we go right back to tipping, or we will go right back to slumping, or we like you're ready for more than that. Any case, Susan, um, it was fun to watch when I kind of started saying, "Do this, do this, do this. Come on, now do that. Now get out of there." Like Nick just like built himself up into this, like, okay, got to be ready, and he's on. And I'm like, okay, now his eyes are a little wide, but if you do that all the time, like, have that expectation, not necessarily with the that I was just barking it at you. Sometimes can be more methodical and working on one or two specific little things but you had everything I just said there. It wasn't like you struggled to do any of it. It was just use it now. And Nick just like rounded out and then as soon as, you know, Susan kind of just came down and stood there or went back to a casual walk. It's like, well, now look at what he did. Right now, that's fine because you got him there. He was like, game on. Okay, wow, we haven't done this before. Then he mellows out. Just don't travel around like that for a long time. Like, what's the point? Stop and stand still. Don't go walking and trotting around with him just peanut rolling. When he's not just completely peanut rolling, but he's downhill. It's like, why are we stop moving like that? Just stop moving. Stand there and pet your horse. If you're going to move correctly, and he's capable of it. Do what you have to ask that. And so some like he's just not as alive as I want him to. It's like, well, tell him to be alive and insist on it and do it with enthusiasm. Don't beg it from him. Be like, now, let's go. And he's like, oh, okay. Do-do-do-do-do. So I don't know. It was fun. It sounds like I was just picking on him.
He's mean, right, you guys? I mean, come on.
I did think this week, like, I wonder what what words would Emma be using to get them to do this? Because she probably wouldn't be yelling at them like I am. But
Yeah, I think it's so
I,
funny.
I didn't know. I'm like, well, we'd have to like plop you in next to me and like I talk for a while and then you talk for a while and you'd be like, whoa, geez, he's kind of yelling at him. I think I could do that. And you'd get them going fast and furious a different way than I would.
I'd be
And
like, aren't I so much nicer than Michael, you guys?
yeah, you would be. I just don't know how you'd evoke that kind of like, come on.
Well,
I do it by yelling at people. Only once I know them.
they love you so much. It's like they know you're only doing it because you love them. And
And
believe it,
they're capable. They're ready.
two things. Yes, two things. First of all, what comes to mind, because I just taught the last home clinic of the season this last weekend here. And a lot of the girls have been with me all year. So, like, peak, you know, um, ending point. Uh, why are we doing these movements? Because when you said, the horse knows the steps, and it's like, okay, but so why then? We have to know what we're heading towards in terms, and to me, that means usability, a pleasure to ride, which would obviously mean, endless power, at least for a certain amount of time, and maneuverability. And all of those things come back to gymnastics. But you have to work towards everything working mentally and emotionally, right? So that, and you have to build it physically, which all you guys have done, so that the steps, you know what I mean? So anyway, just thinking about what is the purpose, why are we doing it? Not, and I'm not thinking of like working equitation or ranch trail or whatever that's not what I'm
Land.
talking about. But yeah. And that's of course, easy for me to think about just because the dressage is my wheelhouse. But so why are we doing the movements? Because we want to create an athlete that is powerful, turned loose, right, maneuverable. So that's helpful because at a certain point we're like we take so much time so that the horse understands the movements in a relaxed way and likes us, and all those things. So then the other thing is just the posture. At which point does the horse live in the posture? Which means that they have access to the power just because that's the habit. And so to your point of
That's how she'd say it if she was there. Took her 15 minutes over against my 15 minutes of yelling at you. she'd say something like that because that's exactly what I was saying, but in your words.
Yeah, live in
Very,
the future,
yeah.
which you can't demand right away, but you can know that you're heading towards that. We were talking about just we were workshopping some ideas for next year. And one of the things was, well, could we have an all day, you know, clinic for the horses, right? Like meaning, would it be valuable to have a horse and human all day long, right? And of course, I'm like, absolutely not. Yes, sort of, but also the my immediate thought was that the horse will conserve, right? And so we want to grow the time that they can just perpetuate energy, right? In a good posture. It's like, did you see that 80-year-old lady that completed the triathlon? I shared that. It's kind of went far. You're so out of the loop. There was a woman that, if it's real, it's almost so unbelievable, but I'm pretty sure it's real. 80 years old, completed the Ironman,
It's crazy.
which is a 2.6-mile swim, a 120 something mile bike ride. Is that right? And a foot marathon. Anyway, why could she do that? Okay, it's because she had conditioned her body over time to be able to do that, right? So, um, yeah, that's what I would say. But you probably said it in a more motivating way. And it's kind of interesting because everybody has a little bit of a different need. Everybody's horse has a little bit of a different need to get there, depending on how they're built, right? For instance, River, my what?
And a different timeline
Yeah,
and different way of getting there.
yeah, sort of the same, right? But sort of different.
Different way in terms of like some horses getting them mentally in the game is going to require kind of them being seen a little more than another horse who's just like, oh, okay, you want to do that? Like, let's go. And part of being seen is like, let's do this, let's go, rather than let's do that. And that horse is going, oh, yeah, this is boring. Whereas if some horses you say, let's go, step up, come on, we're doing this, they're just like, whoa, ho, whoa, ho, ho, ho. I could, yeah, I could get there, right? But who are you? Why are we coming at this so intense right off the bat? I don't know that I even like you yet. Why are you being so demanding? And if you're being demanding, neither horse is going to particularly appreciate you. But one horse might see, hey, let's do this with some enthusiasm as being like overly intense and demanding. And another horse might be like, oh, cool. Okay, let's go. And then I might still have to physically figure something out in the process. But this is interesting. So
I think about it all the time with Revlon, just because it's so much setting the stage. It could be anything. Like I could set the stage any which way at this point, for how it's going to be. So if I were to tune out and just accept, not much, well, that's what she's going to kind of expect, right? But if I be like, okay, now I'm super task oriented and we're going to do this, that, and the other thing, then she would think that. If I reward some sort of effortless effort, then she's going to assume that's how we do it. If I reward her for a little more life with, but that's, kind of abrupt or has any concern, it's really easy with Revlon. My year and a half old BLM filly. It's really easy to look at her because there was such a clean baseline to look at her and see her state of mind change to either, okay, I'm going to have that, let's do our mile run, I'm ready, or I'm just going to sit around here and wait. Like, you can see her mind doing that. Like, it's very obvious. And it gets to be a little bit of a pickle. This doesn't relate to you guys, but it gets a little bit of a pickle when there's only so much I can ask of her.
because she
So,
does because she doesn't know that much yet.
but also, what am I going to teach her as a non-saddle horse?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're limited. So then what do you do?
Hmm.
Right? So, and I would assume that everybody that you're teaching, certainly everyone that I know, the horse already likes them. The horse already has a culture that is the, friends first, puzzles with answers. You get to move your own body. Like, um,
And it's interesting, in the midst of that, you already have that culture, which I'd say most do. You already have some level of the communication. It's always improving, always getting more refined. Um, but if you don't strike that fitting the horse in terms of up leveling, if it's too abrupt, if it's
right.
then that, oh, I like you, like at first might be like, whoa, okay, this is a little bit more. And I'm taken aback by it, especially if you've allowed them to be in that, well, I'm just going to kick around sort of, this is just how it goes. Like, I like how you described that. If this is the expectation of how we're going to operate, then that's just like not, it's not a shock, or it's not like this big thing you have to discuss each time, because they're just like, this is how we operate together. But if it's been otherwise and someone's there yelling at you to do something else, um, and then you're like, "Oh man, shit, he's still yelling at me. I better step up." And it might to rattle that horse loose a little bit and be like, "No, this is not the same thing. He's going to keep yelling at me if I don't get you alive." It can be a little bit like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." And I said to someone else just the last couple days who didn't have as much going on in terms of experience and didn't know the horse as well, I was like, you shook things loose. The horse is like, whoa, that was like a little bit more in terms of expectation, and her feel wasn't as timely or good with it. I'm like, now you have to just let it sit for just a second. So the horse and make friends again and be like, that wasn't anything personal. I'm just trying to get my skills up to where, and my expectations up to where this is actually interesting to you. But because you've kind of been lulled to sleep and lulled into thinking this is all we're doing, it's kind of like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You just can't leave it there, to where then the horse is kind of feeling like, ugh, I'm going to get jumped at. Or now you're
Well,
suddenly shifting from this person who expects minimal anything from me, hardly effort, lack, you know, moving without effort, to now suddenly you want me to like
yeah.
give it my all. I was like, wait a second. So,
And then live like that.
yeah.
And then, because that's the other
But
thing that we noticed.
without encouraging along the way, like, yeah, there you go. That's what we're after. Oh, there you go. That's what we're after. Rather than just, all right, boom, hard line, live like that. Some of these
Exactly.
folks, Susan, Julie, and a lot of it's related to the time they put into the horse, and the horse that's ready for it, the horse that has the mentality of like, yeah, I'd be like serious work ethic if that was expected of me. They can kind of just go, today we operate differently and just move forward, and the horse will go slot right into that and go, about time, thanks, let's do it. um Another horse, it might have to be built a little more gradually, even if you have the relationship, because they're not as physically fit, physically capable, not as keen to just like come ready to play.
So what do you think about the framework of kind of the day-to-day practice, because that's part of what I am certainly am teaching Revlon, and the reason I just refer to her is just because she doesn't know any different, so it's super apparent. Like it is a blank canvas. Well, I mean, we have a little bit on there, but I can do whatever I want. So versus a horse like River, um, who has some certainly ideas of how to do it. Okay, so what part of what I'm trying to get across, certainly to the people that ride with me, also to my horses, is there is a flow from when I put a halter on you to peak performance and back to when I put you away. And that flow is the same. So, but not everybody might want it the way that I want it. For instance, I don't want my horse coming out jacked to the hill. I don't want that. I want it to be a little bit lazy, a little bit floppy, a little bit. I want them to be engaged from the time they see me, like, oh, yay, what are we going to do? And, but it's a little bit more like going to the gym with somebody or driving to the marathon or something like that. You might all kind of hang out and stretch together, and then you get going, and then you hit peak performance, and then you come down the other side, and then everyone has lunch together. It's like, yeah, you're engaged the whole time, but then in terms of peak performance, and that doesn't mean 2 minutes. It could be hours of peak performance, but there's a flow right to the down to the other side. And so I personally want my horses really relaxed and will work my way up to full engagement and then back down the other side. That's why I don't mind if my horses are, it takes one or two departs online, let's say, before they're hopping up out of their tracks. I prefer that than one that's getting out of their tracks but is jacked. I do want my horse right away in the dream scenario to be trotting up right behind me.
Hmm.
Cute to see Revlon learning that. And also providing the slop for her to just think about things. She's so interested in what I'm marking, and she's so rewarded by appreciation and me being impressed that it's a little bit like cheating. Okay, she just came out of the box like that. And that's the last thing I would want to wreck. But does that make sense, Michael? Like my question being,
Hmm.
I don't know if ever
So,
it suits people that live here, right? And
even there, the degrees of expectation, if you're thinking in terms of that curve, the expectation for all the slots or all the phases, if you will, of that trajectory. Like you said, I should be able to just walk out of the pasture and not have you dragging. I should be able to lead you through the gate and not have you like just hit the end of the rope and go dead while I shut the gate or go to dive for grass. Like there's certain
yeah,
expectations for that. I ask you to move over, so someone can get past us while we're grooming. Like I don't want to have to like whack you to be like you're paying attention, you're alert, you're up, but you can stand there maybe without having done any groundwork and let me throw the saddle on you on the way from the pasture to the arena or whatever. Go past the truck, throw the saddle on. I don't, you know, it'd be nice if I didn't have to do 5 minutes of groundwork before that, but I want you to come out alive, stand there without having to do groundwork. At a certain point, if the horse needs it, they need it, but working toward the point where you can just throw the saddle on whenever, wherever, and then go to work and you get in the arena, and yeah, it might take a time or two for it to be, moving toward that. Like we're engaged, we're like moving toward like bringing our all, starting to get in the groove. But if we on the front end of that are like, well, we're not in the arena yet, we're not to peak performance, so it gets really sloppy. Even there, I'm going, well, this is working against what you're then going to have to get in the arena and say, but now the expectation has changed in terms of like basic yielding, in terms of basic paying attention and feeling back to me.
Yeah, there are
So,
minimums, right, for sure.
yeah. And then it's not like a game off once we're done. It's so just, I like the painting the picture of the whole trajectory of that and rolling up into like the best we can do for that day and extending that, building fitness, building, you know,
Relaxation in
w-
yeah,
relaxation with the power. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And yet then it doesn't just slop off.
Agree.
Yeah.
I don't think that has to be part of it. How much do you think that how the
I'm not
horse
saying you were saying it had to be a part of it, but
sure.
when you're like thinking of a few of these folks that have helped, if it's like we need to up level,
Yeah.
like be aware of what level you want that whole process to be like, right? So you say, hey, come on, let's up level, and I'm kind of yelling at you to be like, come on, let's ask something of our horse. That doesn't mean on the one hand like everything has to be snappy, which is what you were kind of saying, well, but be aware of this. And then when you say that, I'm like, okay, yes, what Emma's saying there, but that doesn't mean the ends need to be sloppy. They maybe don't have to be as snappy as what we're moving into peak performance. They don't have to be, but they can't be sluggish or dull or weighty.
So how much do you take agree, by the way, agree on all of that. How much do you take into consideration the horse, the individual as they come as they are in the pasture? Let's just say now, an individual, let's say I'm thinking of an older horse. I have had a couple of those. I have less and less in my string. So sad. But I had one in particular at the clinic last weekend, and they do lots of things together. But he is older, right? So he's 19, and so let's just take him for example. But also it could be a more lumbery horse. How they are in the pasture on their own. Oh, this is what I
Mhm.
was going to say. So it depends if that 19-year-old horse has been working out 4 days a week for 6 months, he's going to have a different baseline than if you bought him off of Facebook and he's been sitting for 4 years.
Mhm.
So how much do you take that into consideration? Like you watched him walk around the pasture, let's say, or move around in the paddock, and he's like stiff and not coming. I don't know. I wouldn't get that horse and expect the same level of trotting up behind me or even going through a gate in a bendy way as I would, let's say, Hope, who's hot and bendy.
Mhm. Well,
So,
and I mean, even when you say hot and bendy, or just the, horses the same age, same, like pretty well age, physical fitness, and experience level in terms of the movements. One horse, you go out and you better like kind of say hello, and you might move him around just a little bit before you go walking off and out the gate, just to kind of say, hey, I'm here. We're going to do some stuff. And the other horse is like, maybe they both meet you at the gate, but the one meets you at the gate like, oh, hello, and the other one's like, sweet, game on, let's do some stuff. And they're like on their toes already because that's how they live, and they trot around the pasture and they're playing with their buddies, and they're like, let's go out the gate. Not like they're rushing, but they're like, bring it on, as opposed to the other one that's more like, okay. let's go do this thing. I really like it when you groom me. It feels really nice. And the other one's like, da 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 da, you're grooming me, but like, let's get going. Hurry up now. So even there, your expectations is like one might you might wake them up, give them coffee, have a quiet conversation, and now we talk about going for a run as opposed to the other horse who's like, "All right, been up for an hour." Oh, sorry, Sadie, you was sleeping. You're good. Sorry, she just jumped. Uh, like I've
The
been up
horse.
for an hour already, waiting for you to get down here, have your dang coffee, so we can go out and get started on our day. So even there, but certainly you know the horse that's stiff or doesn't have as much experience, hasn't been asked to be sharp ever in their life, you're gonna not expect them to be that right off the bat like you would your finished horse. So you go out there and they're just like kind of all business right off the bat with a bright eye and with friendliness, but like, all right, here we go. Off to work we go. And they just have the discipline to,
And that's the
well,
art.
not even the discipline. They just know that's how it goes between you, like you were saying earlier. Like that's the tone of our
Yes.
interactions.
Yes.
So
Yes. And partially, I think the art of it, I find myself as the coach helping with this a good amount. And this is what I want a coach to help me with. You've heard me ask Buck at times, and I'm always wanting him to be something maybe at times that he's not, but as the coach, meaning that he doesn't want to be, not that he couldn't be. Um, the coach being able to say, I think he could do a little bit more, or it all looks like it's ready for this, that, or the other thing, because when it's cool when you get to know a horse, like if you're partnered up with a horse and you get to know them so well that you can watch them walk up to you and know a little bit where you're at physically to start the day.
hmm
And same thing. I'm coaching some of these girls every month, and I can look at their horse and I kind of know where we're starting from. But it's cool, I think, to be able to take all those things into consideration, even to the point where you can start to tell the horse is hydrated, the horse has gone to the restroom, the horse, like, it's really fun when you get to know your partner slash athlete like that.
yeah.
Um, but it would be the same as somebody coming to the gym or the golf course or whatever, and then you never ask them to hit the ball 300 yards, or you never ask them to do box jumps, or you never ask them to run more than point 0.5 or 5 on the treadmill, or you know what I mean. Like at a certain point it's like, okay, we're working towards something, and in order for us to improve as an athlete, which is what we're talking about, don't you think? When we say, oh, I need more life, I need more steerability, I need more, even more calm centered in the rectangle. All of this is athletic. Am I putting too much emphasis on that? It's so funny because I've,
Well, I mean, yes and no, mostly no. But for someone who's like, I don't need a huge athlete, right? I don't need my horse to be like the peak of performance. Like, I want my horse with me, and then we can just like mosey down the trail. But some of what I was saying to, you know,
if you
probably
propose
probably everyone on some level with their goals and their horses, like to reach those goals, your horse has to be mentally and physically ready. And to whatever degree you're going to want that to be seamless and light, the horse has to be in the game. And part of getting them in the game is saying, like, we're going to do some stuff. And that will be athletic, that will be getting handy enough to help you be balanced. that will be feel back to me with some timeliness, so I can say, hey, let's get stop and roll back without a big brace. Like, even if we're not looking to build this horse into the athlete that our friend is trying to build their horse into, this is the means of developing a quiet,
Yeah,
fit, handy, balanced horse that's going to be a joy to ride.
that's right.
Oh,
That's right. Even a horse that's hot and spooky.
mm-hmm. I
y-
want my horse to be calm. Well, how are you going to do that? You're going to
Okay.
have to use some of that energy. You can't just, I
Not,
want you to be a trail horse. Let me squish you down into a trail horse and will you into being softer and slower.
yeah. And yes, yes. And if you that horse is going to tend to be inverted, so
Mm-hmm.
which means their stomach muscles are going to be loose, their top line is going to be short. So we have to there is athleticism then in learning to live in a posture that is turned loose.
I,
It's
I,
all
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, but the the magic mix is the mental emotional part, right? And some people find that much easier to uh dig into, much more natural, personality wise to dig into. And the gymnastics and the athletic part of it seem kind of, you know, not that fun or interesting. But I really do think that when we say turned loose and engaged, which if you don't have engagement, you don't have life. And then that's where a person who like me who would rather have a horse that's on the like more chill side, you still have to have some level of engagement in order to have the horse be a pleasure and
Mhm.
safe. We know that too.
Yeah.
So
I was telling Susan, like, as she was working with Nick, who's pretty quick to just be like, "Oh, no," and she's done a fantastic job of building that friendship, and pretty darn unflappable. Like, even when she was like, "All right, let's up the game," it was just like, "Whoa, okay," but
y-
no trouble comes in there, right? But I'm like, it'd be easy to look across the arena, and there wasn't anyone at the clinic there whose horse was like really kind of super lively or fractious. I mean, they were all pretty just starting at a very good place mentally. But say it would be easy to like go, this part is so challenging. I'm having a hard time knowing how to, you know, evoke this energy and enthusiasm from this horse that's just pretty mellow. And you look across the arena and go, God dang it, they're cheating. They have a horse that's just light on their toes and like ready to move. And I said, the person on the other side of that arena, as their horse is kind of like distracted by this and bouncing around by that and reactive to that, and it's taken so long to get them used to the flag, they're probably looking across the arena at you going, freaking cheater, gets this dull, gentle horse and then has to like just get a little bit of life out of it. And then there we go. So,
a
it,
hundred
it,
percent. Yeah,
uh,
it's a mix, right? It's a mix of those two, and of course, that's the whole game is helping the horse be in the middle. And then I had one of you guys whose horse tends to be a little bit more jacked, but maybe not all the way around. And so as she was getting him rounder and he's slotting into that more, and we're letting his body get longer because tends to be a very baroque horse, then it's like, oh, he's not as fractious as he was. So it feels like he's duller. But then the secret then to looping back to more energy is to keep that turned loose and then put it together versus if the horse is obviously jacked, you have to turn them loose first and then hopefully. And also, the thing that I'm nowhere near as good at as I wish I was. And again, Revlon puts this right in your face, is like, how much are we washing between the two? It's like, okay, how fast can we hit upon the middle part? Because the person that's dealing with the horse that's bouncing off the walls, their horse will head towards the middle. But if you overshoot it, you know, then it's one thing. And same with the horse that's really more lazy, you could overshoot it the other way, and then all of a sudden they're jacked up too.
Hmm.
And so hopefully your oscillations become less and less and less.
Yep.
And then you have horses. I do think that the what you start with in the potential from the horse physically is a real factor, because I feel like, tell me what you guys think. In a way, I bet for everybody listening, and more reliable, and like you have more confidence that you can get a horse to like you, love you, want to be with you, be interested in what you're doing, than it is to hit upon the perfect sweet spot physically. Which sounds crazy because a lot of times we come from physical things and then have to work on the relationship. But for some of us who have been focused on that for a long time, that part is
Even well, even yeah. I mean, even there, it's so much dependent on the horse. I mean, and the person, right? I don't know. True.
believing in the horse's good nature, believing that there's a framework by which we can solicit the horse's partnership and trust and affinity.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I'm just thinking of it from our people's perspective, where that they have worked really hard at that.
Yeah. And I
In
guess I'm thinking, give Susan 15 horses. Some of those horses are going to be easier to develop. Was just going to be quite different developing the friendship with those different horses. You know, some are just kind of friendly and gregarious, and others are like really, you know, you better be giving me some stuff to do, or I'm like, you're going to be boring. Just, you know, like I said, the one horse be like, oh, this is so nice. Ah, it feels so good when you groom me. Like, and Susan would be able to do that, but the horse that's not intrinsically motivated and kind of would just like to hang out and be your buddy, like every person, even if that part's easier, is going to have to sort out, like, how do I tap that with this horse, using all of the that we've just said. Let's be alive, let's understand these movements, let's be in the game to create that with all of these different personalities of horses. Um, like Cinco is the line is thinner for her as to what she's going to tolerate before she's going, you're not really into this with me, right? You're nagging me or you're overbearing, neither of which do I like, neither of which are going to go unacknowledged by me. I will let you know how I feel. And I'm not just going to be like, okay, whatever, go along, or whoa, whoa, whoa. But I guess I'll just, do my thing, even though you're a little bit much. She's going to be like, absolutely not. Right? And many, many horses on both ends of the spectrum, like super gregarious or super just like, whatever. Okay, we're doing something. Is it going to be that thin? Right? They'll get along, go along, either through intimidation or being overbearing or just pushing so hard or, you know, being nagged, they still kind of go along with the deal. Um, Kind of losing my train of thought, but I will throw this in from working with Cinco and Kim yesterday. Um, because Cinco gives such good feedback of like, I don't like that. I also don't like that. All you have to
Meh.
do is take her feedback and go, all right, am I being overbearing right now? Or am I nagging and annoying? And if I'm nagging and annoying, what's the solution? Okay, let's just say, come on, do what I ask, and then I'll leave you be. And then we get started again. Say, I'm not going to nag. I'm just going to say, do what I'm asking. Like, don't have an attitude, just go. If you read it and go, yeah, she's really not liking this. Well, maybe I'm like pushing too hard. Maybe I'm overbearing. Maybe my feel is just coming on a little strong. And what do? You back it off. You go, sorry, not really fitting you. Take a breath, see her, start with maybe a little less, slow it down, give her a chance. I said, if you know the two extremes, like if it was just like black, gray, and black and white were not good on either side, and we need to get to the gray being like hitting that spot where she's gonna flow right with you. You just have to go, well, I'm over here on this side. I need to do a little more of this. I'm over here on this side, need to do a little more of that. Just keep it that simple.
Oh, he's gone. That's sad. He's 100% right. That's exactly. Such a huge gift when the horse is going to give you feedback that is that accurate. Even if you're like, okay, clearly this doesn't work. And to me, that's where mares are awesome because they're not necessarily going to be that shy about being like, you know, what the hell is the matter with you? But if you get it right, it's obvious too.
Yeah.
Mhm. I think of Digamo the opposite, like just being like trying no matter how you're getting it. Like, oh, where let's say no, I don't know, Novella's pretty tolerant, but a mare that's just gonna be like, uh-huh. Yeah, it is handy if they help you oscillate towards. I like saying the gray. That's kind of cool. And yeah, that's pretty obvious to end up one side or the other and ending up with the perfect mix in the middle. Well, so your vacation,
Yeah, I should go.
yeah.
Kids are
So I hope
kids are anxious to get going.
I bet they are. All right. We have one couple more shows in October. Is it October 16th already? I know what you guys. So, at Horsemanship Insider for the student level members, which includes everybody that's grandfathered, we have the Heart and Soul, October Heart and Soul, this coming Tuesday at 4 o'clock Pacific time. Okay, which is essentially a Zoom call where we're all gonna visit. It was really fun last time. So I'll send you a notification. everybody, so you can, which I did already. So you guys should all have it on your calendars. But just a reminder that that's coming up next week. I saw it on my
Where did you
calendar.
send this notification? Just not to be the
Well,
one who's like, I haven't seen it, but I haven't seen it.
yeah, because that was,
Where should I have looked for it?
well, you should have just gotten it right after the last one.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Mhm.
I will
Should
not.
have put
I
it.
will not be there this Tuesday.
Ah, yes, vacation. Okay, well, it'll be sad because it was fun to have you there
It
for
was
sure.
fun.
Yep, and then we'll do another one. It'll be December. Yeah. So, okay. Well, Michael and I have a fun time. Tell everybody that I said hello.
Will do.
Um, I wouldn't hate a picture from Lake Superior. It's been a long time since I've been there. Um, my family's from the UP, right? My mom's side of the family's from the UP.
Hmm.
So we had a family farm up there for a long time. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for being with us this week. Please give us the thumbs up on the show if you enjoyed it. And Michael and I will see you back here on YouTube next Thursday morning, as per usual, at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
8:30 Central.
All right. Have a good week, you guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.